Oh yeah, baby, here we are once again rounding out Studio Series 86 Wave 1 with this guy. It is Scourge, or Scourge if you will. And this is a fantastic Scourge. This is a fantastic Transformer. This is a true Voyager, and he's going to be our focus this time around in the latest GotBot True review. Hey all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, man, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, man, please like, comment, share, of course, subscribe, and while you're at it, light them up, baby. Hit that notification bell, please. It helps me out a ton. It lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all the groups that I am either a mod or an admin for, as well as all my social media links, man. All of those links, everything in the description below. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we offer to you through Teespring, or of course, hit the join button right here on YouTube to become a channel member. And this is the new Transformers Studio Series 86 Scourge. And there's been a lot of talk lately about like value for money and stuff. And this guy takes the cake. He is one of the best of the line. I went through this character with a fine-tooth comb looking for criticisms, and there's very, very few I can levy against it. Very few. I have very much become acute in the last little while of value for money. You know, are we as consumers and fans getting our most, you know, for our buying dollar? Well, this guy absolutely is. I know it sounds like I'm gushing about him, but he has earned it. So without any further ado, let's head over to the table and take a closer look at this guy. And so today we round out, finally, the Studio Series 86 Wave 1. I've looked at the rest of this entire wave already here on the channel. What a way to top things off with Scourge, or if you prefer, Scourge. I kind of like when they call him Scourge. It just sounds a little more sinister, you know? There have been some hits and misses here. There have been some hits that come with caveats. So it's been an interesting wave, to say the very least. But Scourge, or Scourge if you will, I'm probably going to call him Scourge because I think that's what I usually call him. Honestly, I think he is one of the top ones. I would say at the top what we have is, honestly, Grimlock and this guy. I would say middle of the road is probably Jazz, followed by Blur, followed by Cup because of those shoulders. And then for me, bottom of the barrel that I just don't see the value for is Hot Rod. I don't see it. And maybe we'll touch on that as we go through here, because Hot Rod was the like Voyager wave mate for Scourge here. But before we get into Scourge, there you go. See, I said I was going to say Scourge, and now I'm saying Scourge. I don't know. I might go back and forth. But before we look at this guy, let's look at the packaging first. Really beauty packaging. Nice picture of Scourge right there. Here he is over here. Nice close-up of his face. Looks really, really good, man. I totally dig it. Then over here we have him again. And on the back, naturally, we have the product images. And this guy looks pretty good in both modes. Inside the packaging, we have the scene where the reformatting is going on. This is a bit of a strange choice. In the back, we have Shrapnel, who is getting reformatted. We have Kickback, who's getting reformatted, and then presumably Thundercracker was already formatted to become Scourge. Yeah, okay, cool, I guess. He also comes with this really nicely molded blaster and a pretty cool and unique blast effect. And finally, some Scourgy instructions that are pretty Scourgish, and they serve pretty well for getting Scourge between his two modes. They're all right. And here, of course, we have the robot, and I'm digging this man. I really, really am. First things first, the paint apps and his styling. This is pretty fantastic. I'm comparing it to the animation, and about the only thing that I think I can really pick out as inaccurate, and like it's rough, is he doesn't have the pink on his toes. That's about it. Maybe some of the coloration on like the pieces back here. You know, maybe they should be more like, you know, the blue that's in here, but like, you can't really have that because of the way the alt mode goes. Like, I think it's about as perfect as you're gonna get. 9.5, man. Honestly, 9.5. What about the articulation for the guy? Oh, by the way, if you're anything like me, you want this dude to have fracas or fracas. This is my custom one that I had with the Titan's Return lad, but like he can hold him just fine, no problem. That's a battle master, right? As well, I'll note this, if we take this out of his hand, there is a peg on this side, so if you want, I mean you could, no, you can't peg it in there. Can you peg it on his arm? Yeah, you can peg it on his arm, or if you want, you could come around to the back, and I think we can peg it in here. Can we peg it in here? Don't think we can. I don't know. But is there somewhere else back here? I guess you could peg it here on the side, could you? Yeah, I mean, you could peg it back right there if you're so inclined, or like on his arm or something. So if you don't want his blaster in his hand, you do have a few places there where you can kind of deal with it, and that's pretty cool as well. You know, the longer that I kind of fiddle with this guy, like the better he becomes. Before we get into that, because there's something I really want to point out when we do the articulation, let's talk about kind of some of the value here. Look, the guy is a Voyager. He clocks in at, with all of his bits and pieces, 144 grams of plastic. Comparatively, Cyclonus, he clocks in at about the same, a little bit less, but about the same amount. So 144 or 43-ish grams. Okay, and both of these have a significant amount of paint. Traditionally speaking, we have something like one of the greatest, what people consider to be one of the greatest Voyager molds. This one is about the same amount of plastic, not quite as much paint, but this was also cheaper. So we have about the same amount of plastic and more paint in Studio Series. Okay, and a couple of extra points of articulation that this guy don't have. So the extra articulation and the extra paint on top of the mask we already have, cool, man, I get it. Or in a major difference, here is the original. Remember this guy? Remember Fall of Cybertron Grimlock? And everybody said, he's so light, he's so thin. He was 165 grams of plastic. He was actually a lot of plastic for the time. Was he thin? Or did he seem hollow and stuff? Yes. But he was 165 grams of plastic, man. Compared to Scourge's 144. But Grimlock should be bigger than Scourge. And again, Grimlock was, based on prices right now, at the time he was, depending on where you bought him, he was either $10 to $15 cheaper than what Scourge is. So, you know, Scourge has the same mass. Where's the added value? He has a higher parts count, more articulation, and a ton more paint. There it is. But his wave mate is this at 77 grams of plastic, all in, every blast effect, everything. I do not understand the valuation for Hot Rod, whether we compare it to our past perceived value for a Voyager class, or whether we compare it to what is happening right now with Voyager class. There's nothing about Hot Rod that justifies that price point. He was a deluxe. He should have been sold at a deluxe. Here's how I see Hot Rod. He's a litmus test. The company is doing a test with a popular character to see how much can they take away at the price point, and fans will still accept it. If we as consumers accept a lower amount of plastic used, then what's next to be cut? Because the plastic's already gone. You're not getting that back for the price point if you're okay with them taking it. You're never going to get it back. If you've ever done union negotiations, you know that once you negotiate something away, you ain't getting it back. So what's next then? Does the engineering suffer and parts count drop? Does the paint suffer? Or do the accessories get taken away? Because something's going to start happening next. I'm not cool with it. I don't see the value here. I don't support the new attempt that they're making to value things. I do support this. We have an acceptable mass of plastic for what we're used to, and now for a higher price I can look at it and see the extra value with added paint, with added parts count, and with added articulation. Boom, the value is there. 9.5 5 so far. Articulation for the guy. We have a head. I could take this out of the way. We have a head that goes left and right. It kind of goes up and down. It does get a little hindered because of his neck collar piece, but that's all you can sort of do there. The wing pieces here, they can hinge like well back, to be honest with you. Why is that important? So you can get as much of a range of motion as possible for that arm. This flap can move in and out. Bicep swivel, slightly over 90 degrees at the elbow. Now, super duper tight on mine was the wrist swivel. There is a screw in here. I loosened it a little bit. Nothing is hollow on the guy here. For a waist, we have a waist swivel. We have kick forward to there. It would be arguably nice if he could get a little bit more forward, but I get it. They didn't want to break the sculpt. We have a knee to 90 degrees, and luckily, here's the thing, some people said like because of his leg not able to kick forward perfectly, he has issues with, you know, being able to sit. He doesn't actually, because the way they molded the back of the leg actually gives you a flat surface, so he could sit on that flat surface and we still get a stance here for him to take a seated position. I think that that is really good. You maintain the sculpt on the front of the leg while providing for a seated position on the back. Speaking of which, we do have a thigh swivel. Very, very tight. It's built into the thigh, and this is what I wanted to talk about. I'm going to have to kind of do it this way, I think. In here we have a mushroom peg, and we could have just had a mushroom peg, and we could have had the rest of the back of this thigh hollow. We don't. They molded the mushroom peg down into like a point to fill in the back of the leg so it's not hollow. Like bells and whistles, man. Bells and whistles. And then we have a heel, we have a toe, and we have an ankle tilt. And we have one open hand, one closed hand. The wrist was tight on both and had to go turned on both. Fingers, maybe, is about all that you could possibly want. 9.75. It is tremendous. So far, this is an amazing version of Scourge. Here he is with another couple of iterations of himself. And as you can see here, you know, he is the biggest of the three. Some people see this comparison and they kind of, you know, crook their head to the side and say, huh, I thought he'd be taller. Here's the thing, and a lot of people, when I talk about like value for money and mass stuff, a lot of people are like, yeah, but size isn't the thing. I'm not talking about size. I'm not talking about height. I'm talking about mass. I'm talking about actual, right, you know, plastic product used. The center lad here, the Studio Series guy, significantly heftier, heavier, bulkier, and solid when compared to the two deluxe lads, who are both significantly lighter and less solid. What is nice, however, is because they have the size they do for Scourge here, he will look nice in comparison to, like, the new Cyclonus and my version of Galvatron, which I'll show in a moment. But you could, if you have like armies of the Titan's Return Scourge, you have armies of the old deluxe, honestly they could still be followers of this guy. The fact that he's a bit bigger kind of makes him stand out enough to be like, yeah, I'm your leader, guys. You know, it is what it is. That being said, I feel like that my Titan's Return guy is going to, I feel like I'm going to attempt somehow, some way to maybe get a DEFCON out of that. You know, I could see it. Maybe. Could be. And finally, here we have him next to the Unique Toys Vintage Color Mania King, my version of Galvatron, as well as Cyclonus, and even little Fracas down front. I think this is stupendous. I am shocked how much I actually kind of like this guy. I'm looking for things to mark him down on. Like I'm looking to be critical to give you guys all the information that I can, and I'm struggling to find things to mark Scourge down on. So we're going to take him out of it, and him out of it, and we're going to take him out of it. And we're going to do the transformation. So far, overall, if you have not been keeping track, the guy is getting somewhere between a 9.5, 9.75. He's almost perfect. So, to do the transformation, we will turn that around on the top of his head. We bring these out on the side and bring these kind of down like that just for, actually they'll kind of come out front is really what's going to happen. We're going to close in the toes and the heel Now, by rights it should be heel toe, but I tend to leave it like this because I find if I do it the other way, the right way, the proper way, that it's harder for me to get it out when I want to go back to robot mode. So I tend to do it this way, but it's wrong, trust me. And there's actually holes here in the feet where you could put like blast effects and stuff if you want to have them just like thrusters, I suppose. Okay, so we got that done. Then we can open out this back section. And like the whole thing, man, expands out. Gonna get this wing and this wing down out of the way. The whole thing here expands out. When we have all of this expanded out, we take this piece here and it comes up over and kind of covers the back of the head. This piece comes up over and it covers the face. Now, if you want to do the whole like him showing his face bit that was done in G1, you have to kind of split the body and then you fold this back down inside the body, or the easy way to do it is to leave it out. This is inaccurate, but you'll still be able to see his face. You'll see what I mean when we get there. So we bring that down and it covers up his face. I just gotta straighten all of that out there. Then we're gonna bring this whole back piece here down, and what we have is two little rectangular tabs on the back of his legs and two holes up here. They tab onto the back of his legs. Pardon the brief cut. I forgot to mention that you got to peg the legs together first and then you push this down. That's why I wasn't pegging onto one of these, because I didn't have the legs pegged together first. So you do that and then this goes down and fits on very smoothly. A lot smoother than what I just showed there. Then we come to the like wing sections here, and they go up and they come down like this. When they come down, there's, and I don't know if I can show this, I'm going to try and get this one down too and see if I can show it up underneath. There's a little peg there and like little teeth grooves right there that this should peg on over. It will like kind of lock into position. When you've done it, like you'll know, but don't be surprised if it does kind of come up as you're going. Then we open up this section, same sort of thing, a very small little like tooth groove type of section. And we got all of that open. Now, at this point, if you want his face to be showing, before you bring the shoulders down, before you solidify anything, know that this whole piece here can open out and go in here, and then you close these and the face is out. That's a lot of work to have that showing face gimmick as far as I'm concerned, so I ain't doing that. The arms. We come here and we bring this down, and when we bring this down, using the screw hole, we put it over this tab here on the side of the leg. So we bring the arm down and line that up, and it should go on over like that. Same over here. We get that wing out of the way. We bring this down all the way. Same thing. Line up that screw hole with the peg thing, and now the only thing left to do is collapse in these like wing piece sections. So you bring this in and you bring that in. The front up here tabs together, it tabs going all down through there. You bring this up and you bring this up. Back here you have a couple of small tabs that lock into a position there. Done on that side. This side you're gonna be a nuisance. No, you've done it no problem. Bring that in a little bit because it came slightly untabbed. You fold this in and you fold this in, and boom, in the end you have Scourge in his, people call it soap dish, I call it space submarine mode. I will point this out before we look at the mode closer. If you just want to like show his face in a very simple way, you can just open it up like that. Yes, this isn't down in the body. You would have to split this and put this all folded up to do it right. But if you just want his face peeping out for a moment, you can do it pretty easy enough. For something that you would expect to be a simple shell former, and there is definitely a shell forming aspect to it, there's more that goes on here, especially in the center of the vehicle with his chest and head and whatnot, than you would necessarily expect. The blaster can go pegged on the side, you can see the blast effect on the back. If you're like me and you want to use fracas, you can actually put him over here on the side as well. I dig this transformation. Generally, very smooth, works very well. I think that the transformation's a 10. I think it's fantastic. Overall, this guy is a true blue Voyager, and he is quite excellent. Probably a definitive Scourge. It comes in at, I would say, a solid 9.8. And here we are once again, and here he is, and man, oh man. So, coloration, near perfect. Really near perfect. We can't really help the light color here because of the transformation. It is what it is, but like, I can forgive that. I wish we had the pink on the toes, but fine, man. I can forgive it because we do have like a ton of paint slathered over this guy in other places. So I get the value. I really do. It looks like Scourge. It's molded like Scourge. Yeah, it fits the bill. And it has the heft like Cyclonus does, like this guy does. They still fall in range with earlier Voyagers. Whether it's in comparison to something of the same mass, being like Generation Springer that had less paint and probably less articulation, or whether it's something that had more mass like Grimlock, but it really sort of suffered in terms of some of the engineering. This guy has that same mass ballpark, plus he has more paint, plus he has better engineering, plus he has better articulation, which means more of a parts count. I see the added value for my added buying dollar here. I see it with Cyclonus. I see it with, you know, the relationship for what I've always understood a Voyager to be. I still don't see it for Hot Rod. If you do, cool. But I don't see how this guy and him, though they have been both released in Wave 1, I don't see how they're in the same ballpark for value for your dollar. This guy is. If you are on the fence about Scourge, if you're wondering, man, is he worth it? Absolutely 100%. He is definitely worth it. It is a fantastic Scourge. Looks great with Cyclonus. I'm willing to bet he's gonna look great with Galvatron. He looks good with Mania King, just saying. Yeah, really smitten and blown away with the guy. Honestly, cannot wait for the sweeps to come. I'm sure it's going to be a reuse, and I doubt there's going to be much different, but I'm happy to have at least a trio of these guys. Let me know what you think about Scourge. Is this the Scourge for you? I appreciate you guys coming by. Give me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you if you're in a position to help the channel to grow. You can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we offer to you through Teespring. Or, of course, you can hit the join button right here on YouTube and become a channel member. While you're at it, man, hit the subscribe button. Stick around. Have some fun with us here. Don't forget that somehow, some way, each and every solitary single day you do make a difference, and I look forward, baby, to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights at the stop motion premieres of the old fashioned, baby, right here inside the videos.